Hey, good morning, guys, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. My name is Dr. Rob, the Addiction Doctor. I'm with Kristen Nolan, my co-host. It's live from San Antonio this morning, going live on Facebook and YouTube if you want to join us. And later on my Facebook page and Kristen's, it'll go out for all of you to share. So welcome to the show, guys. Chris, what's going on?
Not much. This week has been very eventful and just planning things out and looking for some new employment is what I've been doing. So how's your week been?
We need a job for Chris. There you go. That's what I do. Well, my week was, we had one day that everything went wrong. And I mean, literally everything went wrong. But we got through it. We moved on. And today's a brand new day, which is awesome. So yeah, it's just, just going with it, I guess. So you live, tell people where you live. I always find it exciting when people know where you live.
I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Vegas. Oh my God, that's freaking awesome. I love it. Yeah, now you're about 10 minutes outside, correct?
Yes, about 10 minutes from the Strip.
Wow. Do you get any noise from that or any feedback? No.
No.
Okay. Good. I only went there once and it was, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go there again. It was a little dangerous for me. Too much happening. Too much sex and drugs and rock and roll happening around me to stay there for more than a day, I think. Even though on solid ground, it was crazy.
Yep. I don't ever go to the Strip.
Yeah, certain people are meant to go to the Strip, but I know for a fact it's not me. Hey, guys, welcome to the show. I've just seen a bunch of people jump on. Glad you're here. Just in case you don't know, this is Breaking Through Addiction, the podcast of all podcasts when it comes to recovery and other things. My name is Dr. Rob Kelly. I'm with Kristen Nolan, who's the co-host. We're really glad you're here, guys. We have an amazing guest. I've known Helen for, I don't know, maybe a year or two. I'm not 100% sure, maybe longer. I don't know. She's got a fantastic story, and she's also been through the ringer like most of us guys, obviously. But I can't wait to get her on. I can't wait to ask her some great questions. But you've already spoke to her, Chris, yeah, on the phone?
Yeah, actually, I just spoke with her right before the show.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, guys, stick around. Helen Bratton's on the show just after this. Welcome back to the show, guys. It's Breaking Through Addiction. My name is Dr. Rob Kelly, the Addiction Doctor, along with Kristen Nolan, my co-host, coming live from San Antonio, Texas this morning, where it is absolutely an amazing day. Helen Bratton. Coach Helen, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Rob. Great to see you. I've missed our conversations. I'm used to speaking to you for about 10 hours a weekend.
I know. Just for those who don't know what that was all about, we have a coaching program which we run. It's a 10-day program, 10-week program, 100 hours, teaching coaches how to be coaches and also working on themselves. So you can find out more about that if you text me or email me. So yeah, now Coach Helen is lagging a little bit, and obviously I'm not sure why, but we're going to go with it. So if there's a pause in between, you know what's going on. So Helen, tell everybody about you and what you're about.
Hi, yeah, I'm Helen. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I've also recovered from a massive ischemic stroke, which happened 7 years ago. And subsequently, similar way to recovering from my stroke, when I found out and started dealing with the process of addiction and recovering from addiction, I wanted to know the whys and wherefores and how I could really make maximum recovery. And that is where Dr. Rob entered my life. And having had my life turned upside down, shaken but not stirred, Dr. Rob came in and put me all back together again, and really my recovery went from here to here. I couldn't recommend anyone better. And just what he has shown is within me and who I am It's like I wasn't alive from the moment I was born. I was born a shell because I felt empty until I really started dealing with this. I never had happiness. I was so ungrateful, selfish to the extreme, always wanted more. And if something was brilliant, I wanted it next level. Have a beautiful house? I want Buckingham Palace. I deserve it. Bullshit, I did. Excuse my language. But yeah, just my mentality brain was dead actually before I even had a stroke. I had no idea who I was. I struggled at school, friendship groups, everything. I had anxiety just walking from class to class, and break time, I just wanted to run away and hide. But then I started I started drinking at age 9, which terrifies me because I've got an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old now of my own. And he started experiencing alcohol at age 9. And then any opportunity, I would take it. I stole it. And same with cigarettes. I started smoking at boarding school, and yeah, it just overtook me. My mother smoked, and actually when she acknowledged that I smoked, it was brilliant. I'd light her cigarettes for her in the car. I'm currently running a course on giving up cigarettes, which is the 30-day course. It has started, but anyone can join anytime. It is free on this one occasion. It won't be again. And I'm already getting some awesome feedback from the lovely people on it. So if you do want to jump on, just drop me an email via my website, which is above my head, or get in touch via Facebook, and I'll be happy to speak to you.
Thank you, Helen. Helen, I have a question. You were talking about how you wanted to know the hows and the whys. I was wondering, what did that look like for you? Like, what did you discover during that that journey?
During that journey, I acknowledged that there was some previous trauma which was held within this empty brain of mine. So it had something in there, but it wasn't positive. And yeah, I just wanted to know, getting back to the scene of the crime, the causes and conditions. I just love learning that, and it just opened my eyes to what life truly, truly is.
That's amazing. I love it when you talk like that and your history, because you actually have brain damage at the moment, and not a lot of people know that, because you're such a professional and you do exactly what it says on your website. You know, you help people and you're very successful. So tell me a little bit about that and how it affects you today.
Yeah, I've got brain damage in my prefrontal cortex and my amygdala, affecting my hippocampus as well, which you've read the notes, Doc. But I believe that actually those bits affected in my brain have opened up other parts of my brain, because all of us only use a tiny, tiny bit of this amazing thing that we've all been gifted with. And I'm now just such a brain cheerleader. It's like I can't stop learning about it. Doc, you're going to have to send me to Oxford next.
Helen, you said that the brain damage that that occurred was the best thing that ever could have happened to you. Can you explain why?
Okay, probably not the best thing. Obviously, it's not ideal having 2 young children having partial paralysis on one side of your body. And I also lost my marriage because of it, but that was also due to my self-sabotage, which I was expert in. And yeah, but I've learned to cope with it. And I just think if this hadn't happened to me, yeah, I could have easily sat back and gone, okay, I'm disabled now. I'm just gonna sit here and take it for what it is. But no, I had a choice. I had intentionality, and I was like, no, I set my power of 3 every day. And I really sort of went for it. I was like, I'm not going to just sit back. And it's made me do so much more with my life and finally discover what life is. I had my stroke at 36, but I came into recovery at 41. And we all joke over here in the UK, the Queen gets 2 birthdays. Well, I get 3. I have my belly button birthday, my sobriety birthday, and my stroke birthday. And who can say they've had 3 lives in one? Not many. But boy, I've had 3.
That's awesome, Helen. Absolutely awesome. Listen, tell us and the listeners and viewers where your alcoholism took off.
My alcoholism took off, really, looking back, when I was at university, I was a mature student, and it was just party times. Because when I was actually younger, I was a professional rider, competed for Great Britain, and so I didn't do the party scene. It was all about, although we did party in the backgrounds and at the big competitions, but it wasn't the same as your average 18 or 21-year-old. So when I went back to university late, I made up for it. And there wasn't even a day then that I could stay sober, or not even just getting drunk, but I drank solidly for over 3 years then. And then I got a great job, which I managed to hold down, but I was drinking 2 bottles a night. I don't know how I kept going, but I managed to. I was a functioning alcoholic. And then from there, I met my then husband, and that was just a dream come true. He was the man of my dreams. And it didn't work out in the end, but we've got 2 amazing children, and I couldn't be more grateful for that period of life. But for years, there wasn't one evening that I didn't pass out on the sofa whilst we settled down to watch a movie and have us time. And it just kept going. And after my stroke, I was on massive amounts of medication. But I thought I kept drinking and nothing seemed to happen. It just carried on. And it got worse and worse and worse. And it got to the point I just wanted, whenever I drank, I just wanted to kill myself. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
I'm sure we can all relate to that. I just wanted to know, when was your rock bottom, Helen? When was the worst part, when you finally realized that, you couldn't go on this way anymore?
My rock bottom would have been the beginning of November 2018. And I remember it clearly that, I had 2 bottles of wine, a couple of gins and tonics, and half a bottle of whiskey. And my children were asleep upstairs. And all I could think about was I was only good for death. Wow. And I just desperately wanted to take my life.
Did you ever try? I mean, really try? Or was you just thinking that, Helen?
No, I never tried. Something within me told me no. I don't know what it was. And then I just had this fleeting thought of, who do I know? And a friend of mine I knew was in the rooms. And I called her up next day and said, I think I've got a problem. I think I'm an alcoholic. And she said, okay, go on this website, answer these questions. And as we all know, it's self-diagnosed this disease anyway. And so I did that, phoned her up, and I was so excited. I was just like, I felt I just got a degree from Oxford. Because I was like, yeah, I got 100%. First time I'd ever got 100% in anything. And she said, okay, I'm going to take you to a meeting with me. And I felt a connection. I thought, yep, this is it. But as I said before, I wanted to go deeper, because the more I was suffering and learning, the more I was, something up here was, there's more to this. And that's the work I did with you, Rob.
Excellent. Excellent.
Helen, what have been the pieces to your recovery puzzle after you got recovery? I always give like therapy or church as examples. What were your pieces to your puzzle?
Pieces of my puzzle was learning Rob's work. I've also gone to another program to learn a bit more about my inner child and healing from dysfunction. And it's going to be ever growing and just a process that won't stop until I stop. And I'm not very good at stopping, so just embracing it all, and anything I can do to help others. I believe this is my reason I stayed alive when doctors didn't think I would. I now have a purpose.
I love that. And again, guys, if you're listening right now, Helen does have a lag. She has a real bad lag. So the questions back and forth might be some dead air, but bear with us, guys, because like we said before, Helen has an amazing story. More of Helen when we come back from this, guys. Welcome back, guys. This is Breaking Through Addiction. My name is Dr. Rob Kelly, the Addiction Doctor, along with my co-host, Kristen Nolan. We have Coach Helen Bratton on with us. And thanks you for watching and listening. The numbers are looking good, guys. Don't forget, every Friday around noon Central Time, we'll be on with brand new guests, 2 guests per show coming at you. If you want to be a guest on the show, you don't have to be somebody famous, believe me. Just send us a message, me or Kristen on Facebook or whatever. We'll get you on the show and you can tell your story. Helen, tell me when you finally said to yourself, this is it. I can't do this anymore.
As I said, yeah, it would have been the beginning of November 2018.
And what was it? What was it that made you come to that?
That was my... I just had this thought, just this flash of something came into my brain to say, enough, it's getting dangerous now. Last night you were thinking of ending it all. This, I may live in an old lunatic asylum, but I'm not crazy. I'm alive for a reason. When I was in rehab for learning to walk and talk again after my stroke, it was in Italy. So you can imagine, very religious out there, Catholic priests coming in and out. And I just kept saying that I was Anglican. And it was just after I'd had my first walk in months. And I was sat on the edge of the bed and the priest came in, and it really, really got my hands up. And I sat looking at the garden outside. And again, I just had this thought. I was like, I'm alive for a reason. There is something that is bigger and that has kept me here. So call it a spiritual experience. I certainly feel that it was, because although, yes, I haven't been brought up in a religious household, even though my ex-brother-in-law, he was a priest, I wasn't in any shape or form religious. And I just thought, yeah, okay, something has kept me here.
I love it. I love it.
I don't know what it is, but
the lag. Sorry, guys, the lag is causing problems there. Helen, we're going to have to come to an end with it because the lag is really bad. But tell us where people can find you, and any phone numbers you want to give out.
yeah, you can find me. You can Facebook, on my website, which is www.helenbrattonrecovery.coach. You can email me at helen@helenbrattonrecovery.coach. Or if you're really feeling you need someone to talk to, you can WhatsApp me on 0044 7506 872015. Or indeed, I'm sure Rob would be more than happy to pass on my details. But
yeah, I was just going to say that.
Speaking to you both, and I feel very honored.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Helen. Yeah, if you want Helen's details, get in touch with us or contact me and Chris on Facebook or Messenger, whichever, and we'll give you all. HelenBrattonRecovery.coach is the name. I personally endorse her, not only because she's been through our recovery coaching professional business that we run, but also because she's a great human being. So thank you so much, Helen. Glad you can be with us, and we'll speak to you real soon. Thank you so much. Guys, Chris Thomas is next on the show. Chris Thomas got an amazing story, seems an amazing guy. We'll find out more. Stick with us, and we'll be right back after this. Guys, welcome back to the show. My name is Dr. Rob Kelly, the addiction doctor, along with Kristen Lau, Nolan. Listen, guys, I know that was pretty bad on the lag, but I think Helen got her message home. Helen Bratt, you want to contact her? Give us a call. She's really an amazing person. I just wish the lag wasn't that bad. Chris, how you doing?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. How are you?
Good. How are you, Rob? How are you, Kristen? Good to meet you face to face.
I'm great.
We're living the dream instead of dreaming and living. Chris, tell everybody we got a good few people watching now. Tell everybody about you. What do you do? What's your past? So they get to know you.
Wow, that's kind of a lot, a lot of ways to go at that. So who am I? Where did I come from? And all of those great things. So I've been watching your show a little bit. I'm new to it. I think you're probably like the second podcast I've ever seen in my life. So let you know how I follow along with this kind of stuff. And what I've seen from your show, I like it. It's pretty cool. I could say I definitely like it. And thank Helen for participating also. Who I am, I'm gonna let you know. As you can see, I'm in my office right now, and as you can see, it's a car. So what I am is I'm a clinical coordinator for the State Opioid Response Grant, the SOR grant. And if anybody has heard of that, it came out of the opioid crisis. So what I do is I supervise 9 different hospital sites. So I have teams in 9 hospitals that basically work the front line. So if any of us out there knows what it's like to show up to an emergency room due to an ambulance bringing you because of an overdose, or the police, or somebody dragging you out of the gutter, all which was me. So we understand the emergency room concept. So what we do now is we have teams inside the hospitals providing the warm handoff, the SBIRT warm handoff. If anybody is familiar with that, the SBIRT warm handoff is pretty great. It's all over the country now. I got lucky enough to participate on the pilot grant for the SBIRT program in 2003. And what that stands for, it's an acronym: Screening, Brief Intervention, Referral to Treatment, SBIRT. And what we're doing now is we're in the hospitals. We catch that person when he comes through the door, referred by a doctor, a nurse, case manager, social worker, whoever's on the front line that sees this person, refers them to one of my staff. They screen, assess, refer to immediate care. And that's kind of what I do. That's my profession. It works out really, really well, because you got to imagine if anybody knows this, I'm sure your people out there know this scene, is that you would end up in a hospital from an overdose, and lots of times they really don't know what to do. They might try to stabilize you, maybe give you some opioids, some Suboxone, some methadone, whatever it is, whatever it looks like. It's very, very brief, and then they would provide you with a list of things to do, and then put you back out the door and expect all of these great things to happen. So that's kind of the old model. And due to the opioid crisis and this money that I'm gonna plug presidents in general. I'm not gonna plug any president by name, but meaning that thank God our presidents have given money to the substance use population. It's incredible that each one of them has participated in giving some money. So anyway, so we have this money to provide these services, and we're getting rid of that old model to where now there's an actual human being waiting for you to come through that door. They see you, they screen, they assess, they take care of you. They make sure that you do not leave the hospital without that next level of care. So it's immediate care. So we see them, we have recovery coaches that work with them. We have engagement specialists that work with them. We make sure we transport them. We get them clothes. We get them connected to a shelter. We follow the person 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and 6 months later. We're still participating with this person after leaving an emergency room. So it's incredible.
Wow, that is beautiful. You said that, well, I read your bio and I spoke with you a little bit yesterday. So you are the founder of Help is Possible. Am I correct? And can you tell us about that?
Correct. So HIP Incorporated, Help is Possible Incorporated, it came out of kind of this model that I got clean in 94. I got sober in 94. What I like to call my suicide attempt gone wrong. And what happened from that, I ended up in the system in 94. And I think personally back then the system was a lot better because, I hate to say this, but because the insurance didn't have a hand in it like they do now. And when we needed that treatment, you could just go and you can get it. It wasn't about what kind of insurance you had or if you had insurance or any of that. And I was able to get detox, no problem. I was able to get extended care, no problem. I was able to get a 30-day program, no problem. And then I did aftercare for almost 9 months. So this was all paid for, and I'm going to plug Catholic Charities. The program that I was in was a part of Catholic Charities, and it was wonderful. And because of that, I saw all the aspects of things that wasn't working in the field out there where people couldn't get treatment. And one of the biggest populations that couldn't get help was women and children. And you would think that women would be first, especially women and children. Who wouldn't want to have programs for them, right? But it wasn't, and it was very, very strange. So around 95 and 96, I was working with a few different programs that helped women and children, and that kind of translated to some other things. And then I realized that that was kind of my passion. I love children. I also got to say I love women. So what I wanted to do is I really wanted to create something that would help women on the street coming out of prostitution, coming out of abuse, coming out of all of these things, and trying to have children with them because you can't find shelters for families, reunification of families. I wanted to do all this kind of stuff, and I didn't know how to do it. So, I was fresh myself. I really didn't know which direction to go. And so it started out just me in my own community, knowing where these people were and having people that I'd known and had gotten high with and things like that. I would go out in the streets and find them and help them and feed them and clothe them and pick them up and take them to detox and then take them to the programs that I knew of that took women and children. And so I did this on my own for years out of my own car. And then I would go around. If anybody knows the city of Chicago, I also lived under Lower Wacker off and on for a few years. So there was a huge population that lived under Lower Wacker in the different parks. You know, I slept in Garfield Park, which is close to me. I slept in Humboldt Park that was close to me. And I knew the populations. There was this place called the Brickyard where all the IV users hung out, you know. And for people out there, it's not the Brickyard Mall. If you hear me saying Brickyard, if you know this population, you know what the Brickyard means when I say it. But this population was full of users. And I frequented these places and provided services just on my own. And then one day somebody says, hey, you know, you're doing all of this stuff. You need to try to do something bigger. And I was like, I don't know, do what? What's bigger than this? I'm helping, right? And they was like, well, you need to try to start an organization or something. And then I came up with Help Is Possible. And then it grew to a few more people. And I had a few people out in the street. And we were just getting food and doing that and taking people to their appointments, taking them to detox, taking them to treatment. And then that kind of grew to where I organized it and got a board involved, created a 501c3, and moved from that, started trying to get some donations. And what I've been doing presently is I'm trying to house them. I have a recovery house that can house up to 15 women and children. And we're trying to get that, you know, funded. We're trying to get grants for that to pay for a stay if a person can't afford a stay. We want to get clothes. We want to get food. Just all of those great things. And it's unfolding slowly, but I gave you the website. We're trying to grow, and hopefully one day I'll be able to help more people in my community. So that's kind of how it came about.
Awesome. Tell us about your own story, Chris. When did it start? When did you know you was in trouble?
Look, what do you give me? 30 minutes here? How much time do I got?
You got another 6 minutes, so bring it down.
6 minutes. I don't have 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Born and raised on the west side of Chicago. If you know anything about Chicago, one of the most violent neighborhoods in the city of Chicago. I was born and raised there. I still live in the community. I still work in the community. I provide services in the community. And I started very young, 9 years old, substance use, sexually abused. I'm a sex abuse survivor. I'm a physical abuse survivor. Our traditional dysfunctional family concept. I had a mother who was a paranoid schizophrenic. I had a Down syndrome sister. I had a deaf sister who committed suicide when I was 19 years old. Dropped out of school my first year of high school. Participated in gang banging, participated in drug dealing, been shot at people. I've done everything that the stereotypical inner city drug user does. Ended up homeless, the whole thing. My journey took me through a whole bunch of different types of drugs. I ended up, my favorite drug of choice was alcohol and crack cocaine after being the actual freebase version of cocaine. Tried to commit suicide in 1994 after hitting my proverbial rock bottom, as people say. I hit my rock bottom after robbing and stealing from my schizophrenic mom and robbing my Down syndrome sister's TV from her and sold it for some crack cocaine. And after that, I decided I wasn't worthy of living anymore. And I put a gun to my head and tried to commit suicide. I opened my eyes after the suicide and realized that I was still alive. And a voice was in my ear. It was one of my best friends that I used to get high with. And he got sober a couple years before me. And he used to come and check up on me when I was in the street. He'd find me next to a dumpster, or he'd find me in the crack house, and he'd be like, "Look, Chris, man, they got tools for that shit." Can I curse? They got tools for that shit. They got tools for that shit. You know what I mean? You don't need to live like that anymore. And he would leave. He would leave me there, and then he'd come back next week and say, "Chris, they got tools for that shit. You don't have to live like that." And I heard that voice after I tried to commit suicide, and I called him. He answered the phone. I says, "Man, I need some help." And it seemed like a second later, it was like magic. He showed up at my house with another one of my friends. They kind of gathered my frail body up and picked me up and put me in a car and drove me to detox. And that was March 24 of 1994. And I've been clean ever since.
Wow.
That's the short version. And I have to plug this. I have a book coming out. And if I could plug the book.
Yes, of course.
The book is called Making of a Dark Soldier. And it's my story. I'm the Dark Soldier. And it talks about how I became who I became. And it's coming out soon. So maybe one day you guys can help me with that.
That'd be awesome. Chris, I just wanted to get what's your message to those who are still suffering and to the families of people who are still in active addiction?
Oh my God. You know, we all know that we can't get that message out enough, or we can't say enough. But the number one thing is just keep trying. Do not be discouraged. Even though you run into so many people out here that seem to don't give a shit, it's people out here who really, really, really care. It's true. It's a fact. It's a whole new generation out here. We got the tech generation that you can find treatment on your phone, on your laptop, you know, digitally. You can find it everywhere. You know, I'm old school. I call myself a frontline person. So I'm still crawling around in the streets in the dark, looking for people under bridges. That's my thing. I'm old school. I think I told you, Kristen, I have no social media. Some people think I'm weird, but I kind of made a pact with myself that I'm going to die and never have social media. That's just my thing. I might have social media related to my business, but it won't be related to me personally. But keep trying, never give up. Don't be discouraged if you so-called relapse, or relapse is just part of your particular recovery. It doesn't mean anything. You just have to keep trying and don't give up. And that's the number one thing. I believe in it.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being on, Chris, and thanks for what you do. One more time, plug the website. And I know Making of a Dark Soldier is something I've been waiting for. And as soon as it comes out, we're going to spread that around. It's going to be a great story because I love being in the trenches. An old sponsor, Chris, once told me that as long as you stay in the trenches, you'll never relapse. And he's been so true, 30-something years into this, still in the trenches, no matter what I do for a living, where I live, what size house I'm in. I'm the guy in the trenches. And people, they don't believe me sometimes. You go, you're what? You do what for a living? And I'm in this crackdown old halfway house trying to convince somebody to take him to training because that's what it's fucking all about.
That's right.
It's not at home and telling people what to do. It's getting out there and doing stuff. I'm the guy under the bridge with $1 McDonald's burgers, giving them out, and the police came up. Chris, the police came up and said, you can't do that. And I said, what? You can't give free food out. And I said, why? It might be contaminated. I said, fuck you and move on. And I carried on giving them out because I remember when I was homeless, really homeless, like nowhere to sleep, sleeping on park benches and stuff, begging for money to get alcohol, stealing it. If you've not been there, stop trying to teach it. So no matter how many qualifications you've got, how many years of university, if you haven't been there, you can't realize that I would stab you in the face for an alcohol. In fact, I stabbed my wife 3 times one night because she wanted me to finish drinking. Come on, so amazing what you do, man. I'm all over what you do, and I'm all over you. I can see that you're a little bit like me. You don't take any shit off anybody, and you hardly answer to anybody because there's a mission to be done. Sugarcoating this stuff fucking kills people. What do you reckon, Chris?
Yep. I love it. Thanks for that, man. I love it. So the website, Help Is Possible Incorporated. Check it out. It's new. It's fresh. We need some help. We're trying to do things in Chicago, totally partial to substance use in general, but women and children, look out. I mean, just go look it up, man. It's such a need for it. In the city of Chicago right now, they need places where women can go that's receiving MAT, medication assisted treatment, with their children, and it's like unheard of. You can't find it. They'll take you, but without your child, or they'll take you without your family. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So there's always work to be done in this, in the trenches and on the opposite side. So I appreciate what you do. I really respect it because I tell people all the time, I still speak in meetings everywhere. You know, I'm a 12-step advocate, all kinds of 12-step. I'm not biased. Anything that's helping is good. If it helps you, it's great, you know. But there's things out there that people still are confused about, and they need people like you, Rob, need people like you, Chris, to do this so they understand it's not single-minded. It's not one purpose. It fits everything and everybody. You just got to find what fits you. And to do that, you got to have somebody behind you, directing you, helping you, walking you, holding your hand, putting you in the car. I've had people throw up in my car. It's like it's nothing. I've had people, you know, shit in my car because they had diarrhea. You know what I mean? I take the burgers. You know, I had people throw burgers back at me saying, "Fuck you, give me money instead of a burger." It's nothing. It's nothing. Anything happens under the word addiction. Please do not have some preconceived notion that people are supposed to be fucking grateful when you do it. They're not. They're not. So don't be offended when they're not grateful. You give them a fucking burger, right? But understand and just keep coming back. And I think I mentioned this to you, Kristen. Just don't let it bother you if it's putting you out. Back off. You out, keep doing it. It doesn't matter. I've been cursed out. I've been chased away. I've been hit. I've almost been seriously attacked. So what? It's still not worse than when I was living in that same dumpster, living in the street, getting sexually assaulted, you know, doing almost anything it takes to get high. You know what I mean? So it's never worse than that. So I ain't worried about it.
I love it, Chris. Absolutely love it. There's my sponsor tells me about the first 12-step call he went on with a few of his hardcore buddies, you know, the old school cardboard. And his job was to carry the plastic bag. Right? And he didn't know what it was for. And he's like, he must be important because they came in his bag. And then when the guy got in, he found out what it was for. You know, he puked all over it. Chris, I want to just thank you so much. I mean, I need to get to know you more because I very rarely meet people. I meet people who say they do shit, but I very rarely meet people who are actually the real deal. You see, I'm the guy that says what other people are thinking or dare not say. I'm that guy. I'm controversial. I seen a thing the other day, and it was in some website or magazine somewhere, and I was speaking to someone. He said, "The controversial doctor from Texas." I'm not fucking controversial. I just don't mind saying what needs to be said. Because otherwise, we have an epidemic. I said that from day one when I stepped into this country 14 years ago, and everybody laughed at me. Fucking not laughing now, are you?
That's right.
Thank you so much, Chris. We need to speak again, and it's awesome, man. I just love it.
Yeah, thanks for using the word epidemic because I think the word epidemic is a joke in my situation. And what I mean by that is we all of a sudden got this opioid epidemic. But I lived in an area, still live in an area where it was an epidemic before I was fucking born.
Yeah. And
I watched people die on the corners. I've watched my friends, daddies and uncles and mothers die with needles in their necks. I grew up smoking freebase cocaine with older adults who were shooting in their necks back in the day. And they were dying and nobody ever said it was an epidemic then.
Yeah.
Always been an epidemic.
Always.
So
Always.
Rob, you stay out there on that front line. Kristen, you stay on that front line also. You know, I love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. Guys, we'll be right back after this to close the show. Welcome back, guys. Back into the show. My name's Dr. Rob Kelly, Addiction Doctor, along with Kristen Nolan. Chris Thomas was just on. Helen was on. Helen's an amazing person. She's great at what she does. Chris Thomas, woo, man, that guy kicks ass and doesn't fucking apologize for it. It's like, this is what it is. This is what we do, you know? Oh, you can't do this. I bet Chris doesn't say fucking no. You know, I love these guys. I love these guys, you know, because it gets lonely up here when you're doing this shit because, you know, it's just like banging your head against the wall. Then when you meet, you know, somebody like Chris, you go, oh, there's a few more out there doing this. What a great guy, Chris, yeah?
Oh, yeah. He's definitely in the darker side of addiction, which, oh, man, we need that. We need more people like him. And I definitely would like to get more into that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to have him back on the show for like an hour or something because he's got a lot of stuff. He does amazing stuff where he is. Women and children. Who would have thought? Everybody goes to the men. Let's sober host this. Let's get a sober house for men who are. What about the women and children? You know, who's looking after them? And I've been in that situation where I've been with mamas and children, and yeah, he's right. They do say you can come in, but your child can't come in. What sort of fucked up thing is that? You know, there's PTSD waiting to happen. There's a relapse waiting to happen. You know, I mean, it's love it. Whatever we can do to support Chris, we're going to do, because he's just amazing. Chris Thomas, guys, if you want more information, which I'm sure you will, got a large audience today, message me or Chris. We'll give you all the information about Chris, and we'll give you all the information about Helen, two great people on the show. What do you reckon, Kristen?
I'm just grateful and happy and blessed to be a part of the show. I just look forward to it every week, and I just thank everybody for watching.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget, every Friday, noon Central Time, we'll have 2 brand new guests, and we hope you have a fantastic week. And don't let anybody tell you. Listen, if you don't think you're good enough, by the way, or you don't think you can amount to anything, or you just think this is your lot in life, I want to apologize to you. Somebody's put that there. We're born with $1 million minds. Stop fucking hanging around 10-cent minds. Me and Chris, I'll see you back next week. For now, be safe.
Bye.